I'd be down for anything though. Anything you need help with.
Well, I'm thinking about making a video right now about this fonts and everything and builds and stuff like that with to go with it. And then I'm gonna need to run a couple strikes with Arc and Void just to get some footage of it. That's my next goal.
Okay.
So I'm probably gonna mute the party chat real quick and then go over the build of it, and then we can run some strikes.
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
Alright, so pretty much we're gonna start this off very just chill. So basically a lot of people, like, I don't feel like they understand the new mods they brought out with the new season, right? Season of Chosen, they brought out the elemental armaments, which goes to elemental light, elemental armaments, font of might, and font of wisdom. And then there's this one right here, which I don't know, I don't think it's viable just due to the fact that wells don't drop that often. But they can. I've tried a little bit of it. I've tried running elemental armaments like on all 4 pieces and running a font of wisdom. I found what's best was to run elemental armaments and then a font of wisdom into a supercharged, a taking charge, and an energy converter. So pretty much the elemental armaments is the only thing you really need to like focus on. Is it's going to be weapon takedowns with the damage type that matches your subclass, like your element of your subclass. She has a chance to spawn a well. And then with Font of Wisdom, what that does now, you get this, it's going to give you 30-second of extra intellect. I've tried stacking them, it just doesn't make a difference. So what I did was took Energy Converter and Supercharge, which allows you to carry 4 extra charges of lights, and do Energy Converter, which Energy Converter is if you have charge of lights, you can throw your grenade and it goes up to 50%. So it'll go to 4 charges is 40%, and 5 charges is 50%. And 4 charges is pretty much a quarter of your energy bar, which I find to be very useful. Because pretty much once you pop your super, you can just throw a grenade and you already have a quarter bar. On top of that, you can run this with like Void or Arc, or you could run it with even Solar. I think it'll work for any class you really want to play as, whether you're on a Hunter or a Titan. I prefer Warlock, but I think this is really truly broken on the Voidwalker, just due to the fact of Nezarec Sins, Void kills increase ability regen. So on top of that, you'll get your Adept Void ability charges back. You'll get the Well, which is another 30 seconds of energy, plus you're going to be constantly throwing grenades and stuff like that. The reason why it works with the Arc subclass, and then all I have to do is just change this out, put Geomags on, put on the Shadow Price, and you can run like Thunderlord or Anarchy. I usually prefer Anarchy just because you're going to be able to melt bosses. Like, it's just that simple. So the biggest thing to take away from this one is Ionic Trace. And defeating enemies with the Chase grants you the Ionic Trace that grants your energy to all your abilities. It's including your super. Okay? The biggest thing you need to understand is that you need to throw your grenade with 4 charges of light, or else it's not going to really be that viable, because once you get above a 0.5% of your super, the energy converter no longer works. Also, you could run just Innervation and Recuperation on these. This is just getting, every time you pick up a orb, you get healed, and then this is getting reduces grenade cooldown every time you pick up an orb as well. So you can just constantly pick up grenades and throw them, as well as Ionic Trace is going to give you super energy back as well. But I've been running this morning, and it kind of hit me today a little bit about how crazy it is you can get your super back. And like, it's abusive almost. Like, it's almost a little too much. I'm going to make this a 3-part. I'm going to do a strike with my buddy Secret and go over how fast I get everything back and how fast the supers come and how fast you get your grenades back and everything. And it just really works. I usually run bottom tree because Devour, you're pretty much a walking tank. The elemental wells do go away after some time, so you do find yourself charging in sometimes to trying to get them. But at the same time, I have 56 intellect on this build. I could probably make it better. I know on my Geomag build, I just switched these two out. It's at 70, and my recovery and resilience aren't that bad. So I will probably do a couple more videos of me running Void and Arc in into missions and stuff like that. But the biggest thing, I'll just go over it again real quick, just to clarify. So the biggest thing is the elemental armaments of this piece, and you have to use a weapon that matches your subclass, and you'll get wells pretty often. Font of Wisdom again is a 30-second buff timer for you after picking up a well to intellect. And you're gonna want to run supercharged. It's a little tricky. I usually like running it on the chest piece because you can still get a 2 recovery mod out of it, and I usually run concussion and solar resistance depending on it in a nightfall or something like that. But honestly, this build is more for like kind of fun running around and stuff like that. In Grandmasters, what I usually do is I'll run this Elemental Light, which is just defeating combatants with your super spawns Elemental Well that matches your subclass. It's pretty much guaranteed if you use your super. With your guns, it's not so much. But you need to run supercharged. Taking charge, you need a way to be able to get the charge onto you. You have to be able to way to find and become charged with light. The easiest way I found is taking charge, because if you're not maxing out your weapons by now to drop orbs of light, I really don't know what you're doing right now. An energy converter. The biggest thing about that is going to be your 4 charges of light and you're throwing your grenade out. And here I run also reduce class ability cooldown when using your class ability. Another thing, I want to talk about a perk real quick for a second, Thresh. Now, I feel like it's probably the most underrated perk right now. Like, it is the by far, like, with running this and Ionic Traces, I get my super back so fast it's not even funny. And that you have to take in consideration, right? A lot of people don't know how to chain their supers and just create orbs for each other and just chain supers and go through missions really fast. A lot of people doing Grandmasters understand this now, and Grandmasters are kind of cake. Me and my buddies were doing Grandmasters, and we did a raid afterward, and we was like, the raid is so unforgiving, more unforgiving than Grandmasters, which is kind of odd. Just because if you fail an encounter, your whole team wipes, where in a Grandmaster you die, you just get revived in another 45 minutes. But Thresh is such an underrated perk, as well as Wellspring. Wellspring is good for grenades and melee recharge energy, as well as you can, like, because Wellspring, what it does is, if you don't have, like, say you don't use your melee and you're only using your grenade, all that energy goes to your grenade. It's the same concept of Demolition, but Wellspring, I think, is far better than Demolition. But Thresh, man, Thresh is such a good perk. I'm looking for an Adept. The Substance and Thresh, I think that would be a great perk. But if you like this, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe if you want to. I'll be doing, this is going to be a part 1 of 3. I'm going to start running some strikes and everything with my Void as well as my Arc. So stick around, stay tuned for that, and have a good day.